All right, you ready to dive in? We're tackling blockchain today. It's one of those things, right? Like you hear it everywhere, but do you really get it? Well, that's what we're here for.
We're going deep on blockchain today, what it is, how it works, the whole deal. And we've got a great source to help us out, this Investopedia article, Blockchain Facts.
Yeah, blockchain facts. What is it, how it works, and how it can be used to be exact. Now, I'll admit, these articles, they can be a little, dense. But stick with us, all right? We're going to break it down, make it fun. So, first things first, what is this thing?
Think of it like a spreadsheet, but instead of just living on one computer, it's copied across a whole network, tons of computers all over the place.
Okay, so a shared spreadsheet, but what makes it blockchain? The article talks about these blocks.
Right, so every time new information gets added, it's grouped into these blocks of data. And each block is linked to the one before it, forming a chain. Blockchain, get it?
Ah, I see. Like a
Yeah.
chain of digital information, and each block is like a link in the chain. But how does that actually work in practice?
So the article uses Bitcoin as an example. Each block on the Bitcoin blockchain, it has a size limit. It's like once a block is full, it's done, locked in.
Makes sense, so then a new block gets added to the chain.
Exactly. It gets chained to the one before it, forming this permanent record. You can't go back and change anything in a block once it's linked in. That's what makes it so secure.
Okay, so it's like a history book, constantly being written, and every page is time-stamped and can't be ripped out or changed. But what actually makes it so tamper-proof?
It's all about this thing called a hash.
A hash. Sounds kind of mysterious.
Basically, it's like a unique digital fingerprint for each block. Any tiny change to the information in a block, even just one character, changes the hash completely.
So it's like an alarm goes off if someone tries to mess with the data.
You got it. Every time a new block is added to the chain, the whole network checks its hash, makes sure everything matches up. Any discrepancies, the network rejects the block. No way it gets added. It's incredibly secure.
Wow, that's really clever. Okay, so we've got this super secure, tamper-proof chain of information. But why should anyone care? Like, what's the big deal with blockchain?
That's the question, right? Why should you care? Because it introduces trust into the digital world like never before. It's a game changer.
Okay, now we're talking. Tell me more about that.
Think about it. What if we could guarantee the authenticity of information online? Your medical records, voting records, even the supply chain of the food you eat.
Okay, so we've got this like ultra secure, tamper proof chain of information. But how does new information actually get added to the blockchain? The article dives into like the nitty gritty of transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. And honestly, it's a bit much.
Yeah, there's some serious digital puzzle solving going on behind the scenes. Imagine a global network of computers all racing to solve this cryptographic puzzle. It's like a digital scavenger hunt.
And the winner gets to add the next block to the chain, right? Kind of like striking digital gold. The article mentions this term, proof of work. What's that all about?
Proof of work is the name of the game here. It's how the blockchain makes sure transactions are legit, that no one's trying to pull a fast one.
Okay, but how does it actually work? I'm still a little fuzzy on that.
So picture each block of transactions as a padlock, right? And that hash we talked about, that's the keyhole. To add their block to the chain, a miner needs to find the right key to unlock that specific padlock.
So they're trying to pick the lock.
Kind of. That key is the nonce, a random number that, when combined with the block's data, produces the correct hash.
So it's like trying to guess a winning lottery number. These miners are just crunching numbers like crazy.
Got it. And because the hash depends on every single bit of data in the block, even a tiny change to one transaction would totally change the hash. It would stick out like a sore thumb.
Wow, so it's like a self-verifying system. No wonder blockchain is considered so secure. But I gotta ask, this all seems very focused on Bitcoin. The article mentions Bitcoin a lot. Surely this technology has uses beyond just cryptocurrency, right?
Oh, absolutely. Bitcoin was just the beginning. It was the first big application of blockchain. But this technology, it's about so much more than that. Think of blockchain as a way to track and verify information, any kind of information, and make it trustworthy.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Give me some examples. What else can we do with this blockchain magic?
All right, well, let's start with something we can all relate to. Food. Imagine being able to trace your food, like from the farm where it was grown all the way to your plate. You'd know exactly where it came from every step of the way.
Wow, no more mystery meat. But seriously, that would be incredible. The article mentions IBM is doing something like that with food already, right?
Exactly. They have this thing called IBM Food Trust. It's a great example of blockchain in action. It's all about creating a transparent, tamper-proof record of every step in the food supply chain.
So every time a product changes hands from the farm to the processing plant to the grocery store that gets recorded on the blockchain.
Yep, and if there's ever a question about where something came from or a safety concern, boom, you can trace it right back to the source.
That's amazing. Imagine how much easier that would make things during, like, a food recall. We could pinpoint the source of the problem instantly.
Exactly. No more guessing games, no more widespread panic. Blockchain brings that level of precision and accountability to the table.
Okay, so food safety is a huge one. What else? What other areas can blockchain shake things up?
Well, the article also talks about property ownership. Think about how many disputes there are over land ownership, especially in parts of the world where records aren't exactly reliable.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've heard some crazy stories about people getting scammed out of their land because of shady property deeds.
Exactly. But imagine a system where all those records are stored on a blockchain, secure, transparent, and tamper-proof. Every transaction, every sale, every inheritance, all of it, right there on the blockchain.
No more disputes, no more fraud. That would be huge. It seems like blockchain could really level the playing field, especially in places where these systems have been easily manipulated in the past.
Absolutely. And we're just scratching the surface here. The article also dives into how blockchain could revolutionize voting.
Yeah, that's something I can really get behind. I mean, fair and secure elections, that's like the bedrock of democracy.
Yes, you said it. Imagine a voting system where every single vote is recorded on a blockchain. It would be virtually impossible to tamper with the results. No more hanging chads, no more questions about the integrity of the vote.
That would be incredible. A truly transparent and trustworthy election system.
Exactly.
Mm,
And it all comes back to trust. Blockchain allows us to create systems where we don't have to rely on a single authority to tell us what's true. We can verify it for ourselves.
that's so powerful. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, and it seems like blockchain has the potential to, like, revolutionize pretty much everything.
Mm.
But the article must mention some downsides, right? There's got to be a catch.
Well, no technology is perfect, right? And blockchain is no exception. One of the biggest criticisms, especially with proof-of-work systems like Bitcoin, is the energy consumption.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. All those computers working overtime to solve those puzzles, it's got to use a ton of energy.
Exactly. It's a valid concern, especially as we're all becoming more aware of our environmental impact.
So the very thing that makes blockchain so secure is also pretty energy intensive. That's a bit of a dilemma, isn't it? Are there any solutions in the works to address that? So big potential, some big challenges too. But for a listener, someone who's hearing all this and maybe thinking, okay, but what does this have to do with me?
It's a fair question. The truth is, blockchain has the potential to touch so many aspects of our lives. Think about your own personal data, all that sensitive information we have online. What if that was stored on a blockchain, accessible only by you?
Identity theft would become a thing of the past. No more worrying about data breaches or someone stealing your credit card info. It would be like having a digital fortress around your most important information.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting what we have now. Blockchain can open up new possibilities, especially for those who've been left out of traditional systems. The article mentions this idea of banking the unbanked.
Right, giving access to financial services to people who don't have bank accounts. There are millions of people around the world in that position.
Exactly. Blockchain can give them access to financial tools, help them build credit, participate in the global economy. It's about empowering people, creating a more inclusive financial system.
It's like leveling the playing field. That's incredible. And it's not just finance, right? The article mentioned other areas where blockchain could have a huge social impact.
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare is a big one. Imagine being able to track the origins of your medication, knowing for sure that it's safe and authentic. Or think about education. Your diplomas, transcripts, certifications, all stored securely on a blockchain, instantly verifiable by anyone.
It's like a global record-keeping system that everyone can trust. The possibilities are really pretty mind-blowing.
They really are. And we're just at the beginning. There's so much more to explore, so much potential waiting to be unlocked.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of blockchain, I think the biggest takeaway is this. It's not just about cryptocurrency. This technology has the power to transform so many aspects of our lives, from finance to food to voting to how we share and verify information.
It all comes down to trust. Blockchain has the potential to create systems that are inherently more trustworthy, more transparent, and more secure. It's a pretty exciting time to be paying attention to this space.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling inspired to dive deeper, I highly recommend checking out the article we've been discussing, Blockchain Facts: What is it, how it works, and how it can be used. It's over on Investopedia, and it's a great starting point for anyone who wants to learn more.
And for our listeners, I'll leave you with this thought. What possibilities does blockchain spark in your mind? What problems do you think it could solve? The future of this technology is still being written, and your curiosity could be the spark that leads to something amazing.
So keep those minds curious, keep exploring, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.